is previously developer-exclusive characters in private servers with killers like Herobrine and Brimstone, survivors like the Martial Artist, who basically has the same stats as a killer, and skins that give the character a huge buff. In this video, I'm going to be ranking every single one of these characters on a tier list based on how powerful they are. Some of these characters are stupidly broken, so you're going to want to know which ones to abuse. Hit that like button and subscribe, and let's get started. For our first character, we have a survivor, the SWAT officer. But starting a game, they have 3 different forms, one with night vision goggles, one with a round helmet, and one with heavy armor. The only difference between these versions is that the one with night vision goggles spawns in with a Glock 19, while the other spawn in with an AR. All 3 versions also spawn with a medkit and have the same ability, Flashbang. When activating this ability, the SWAT officer throws out a flashbang, which explodes, blinding everyone who is facing it for 5 seconds. However, if you look away, it does nothing. The crazy thing about this flashbang is it has full map range, so if someone uses a flashbang across the map and you just happen to be looking at it, you're getting blinded. Fortunately, this only affects killers and other SWAT officers. Normal survivors are safe. A SWAT officer by themselves can kind of act as just a more powerful TAF, being able to seriously incapacitate the killer, but they get even crazier if you stack them up. Not only can you annoy the hell out of the killer with the flashbangs and make it basically impossible for them to kill anyone, you can also just straight up kill them, since each SWAT officer has an AR. Cool Kid is especially weak to this, as he has the least amount of health in the game. So SWAT officer is very powerful if stacked, but compared to the other things that we're going to be looking at today, it pales in comparison. So I'm going to rank it as a nice B tier, a decent start for this video. For our next character, we have our first killer, Brimstone. This one is SWAT officer is very powerful if stacked, but compared to the other things that we're going to be looking at today, it pales in comparison. So I'm going to rank it as a nice B tier, a decent start for this video. For our next character, we have our first killer, Brimstone. This one is really sick. It takes the appearance of your avatar, but with a couple changes. You're wearing a black cape, your face is shadowy with 2 glowing red eyes, and you have a sparkly red crown. And most importantly, you're wielding Crescendo, the Soul Stealer, a really cool fiery sword. Brimstone leaves a trail of fire behind him as he walks, which burns survivors if they walk into it. His first ability is Slash, where he attacks with a sword in front of him, swinging it in an arc. Unfortunately, it has a pretty misleading hitbox, being just a regular rectangle. It deals 20 damage and has a cooldown of 0.5 seconds. His second ability is Dash, where he spins and flips in the air, quickly flying forward. When hitting a survivor, they are damaged and burned, taking a total of 48 damage. And the craziest part is this ability only has a cooldown of 5 seconds, which is just insane. His third ability is Fire, where he performs a series of slashes in front of him with a large square hitbox. He can use this while moving around, with each swing lunging him forward. The attack burns survivors, and all the swings combined deal a total of 43 damage. This ability also has a cooldown of 5 seconds. His next ability is Ashes, where he shoots a large fiery projectile in front of him. It burns and damages survivors, dealing a total of 65 damage. That is a ton. On top of that, it also has infinite range, so you can snipe survivors from across the map. And as if that wasn't crazy enough, it has no cooldown, so the only thing you have to wait for is for the animation to finish. For his final ability, we have Burn. Brimstone uses his sword to slash in front of him repeatedly, and once he's done, he stabs into the ground, releasing a supernova of fire, burning all survivors nearby. You can use this move while walking, with each attack lunging you forward. Even with just the fire, it deals a whopping 59 damage. But if you also hit the survivor with all the swings, it deals a total of 87 damage. That is crazy. That will one-shot an Elliot at full HP. And as a cherry on top, he has 14,100 health, making him effectively unkillable. Needless to say, this killer is absolutely broken. It has a ton of extremely powerful moves, with in my opinion the most powerful thing being his projectile. Being able to spam a projectile that deals 65 damage and has full map range is completely broken. I guess his only flaw is that he doesn't have a way to track down survivors, but that doesn't matter, where you can just spam the entire map with projectiles and you'll eventually find them. This guy is an easy S tier killer. Probably the strongest killer in the entire game. Now, for our next dev character, we have another killer, Sancho. This killer is a lot simpler than the last, having only a basic attacking ability. Each swing deals 40 damage, so he either 2-shot or 3-shot survivors, which is pretty crazy. And while this by itself wouldn't be that broken, he has something else up his sleeve. He has 1 1,000 stamina, so he can basically chase you on forever and never run out. So there's basically nothing you can do to stop this guy. Oh yeah, and you can't stun him. He gets speed instead. Your best choice against Sancho would be to hide, which is actually quite a big weakness for him. He has no way to find a survivor unless it is last man standing because he has no detection ability. So he'd have to run around the map until he found you, which could end up wasting a lot of time. But still, that high of an attack power and unlimited stamina is pretty crazy. So he's still gonna end up in the A tier. Simple but powerful. Next up, we actually have a skin for the Guest, KJ. This isn't any normal skin, however, completely changing Guest punch ability. KJ puts the killer in a crazy long, extremely over-the-top animated combo, and then kicks them, sending them flying across the map. This is how it looks for the killer. If you get hit by this, you're in for a bad time. So this skin takes Guest up to a whole new level, and you're gonna have to be extremely paranoid of his blocks and punches. However, that's the one problem. If KJ never lands a block, it's basically just a normal Guest. So as long as you're careful, he's not that bad. So while extremely cool, compared to the other dev characters, he doesn't really compare. So I'm gonna put him as a low B tier, one spot behind the SWAT officer. I just think the SWAT officer is really powerful if you stack him up in the lobby, because you can just straight up kill the killer. KJ, however, is just a normal survivor if he doesn't land a block. Next up, we have another killer, Sukuna. Yes, the anime character. You keep your usual avatar, but you have a red aura around you and some cool idle and walking animations. Also, there is some crazy music playing in the background. Like, damn, this is he. His first ability is Slash, where he hits forward, having a slightly wider hitbox than usual. It deals 40 damage and has a cool effect when the survivor hit. It has a cooldown of 2 seconds. His next ability is Cleave, where he dashes forward slightly and has a huge repeating hitbox. This is a total of 75 damage, with white and black spikes going into the survivor being hit. This is already crazy strong. His next ability is Dismantle, which attacks extremely rapidly in a huge square in front of him. This deals a ton of damage, one-shotting survivors if all hits connect. And finally, his last ability is Maul Shrine, which brace yourselves, this is probably the craziest ability in all of Forsaken. Sukuna puts his hands together, and every single survivor on the map starts taking damage, until they eventually lose a total of 75 health. There is no way to avoid this. However, it is a cooldown of 200 seconds, so you can pretty much only use it once per game. But either you could choose at the start of the game to just immediately take everyone down a ton of health, or if you're reaching the end game and everyone is a bit damaged, you could just straight up wipe out the whole lobby. It is insane. And on top of this, he has 600 stamina, so you are not escaping this guy in a chase. With his crazy powerful moves that deal a ton of damage and this absolutely broken Maul Shrine ability, paired with his crazy stamina, he is absolutely unstoppable. Easily an S tier above Brimstone. Brimstone's projectile is really powerful, but damn, Sukuna is just crazy. Thank goodness he's not in the real game. For our next character, we have a survivor, the martial artist. Now I'm just gonna say, this guy is the Sukuna of survivors. He's crazy. They have 2 different abilities, with their first one being combo. They attack the killer with a series of punches and kicks, and then fling them away. It deals 100 damage, and has a cooldown of only 5 seconds. His next ability is quick attack, where he kicks in front of him, lunging forward, and having a ridiculously big hitbox. Like seriously, who designed this? It makes no sense. It knocks the killer really far back, stunning the killer for 6 seconds, and dealing 100 damage. And it also only has a cooldown of 5 seconds. So if it wasn't for the fact that killers get stun immunity after being stunned, it would have been able to perma-stun killers. And then on top of all of this, they have 900 health. That is 100 health more than Cool Kid. They're basically a killer who joined the team of the survivors. And with the insane amount of damage that his moves deal, and their low cooldowns, they are going to be the one hunting the killer. This survivor is insanely broken, and easily an S tier. Nothing has or ever will get close to this, and I'm glad. For our next character, we have another killer, Earl King. They have a really cool dark design, with a sword covered in thorns, a dark aura around them, and a coffin chained to their back. They have 2 abilities, which at first don't seem that impressive. They have a slash attack, which has a pretty generous square hitbox, and deals 40 damage. It has no cooldown, but you do have to wait for the animation to finish. Their second ability is Wild Hunt, which after killing a survivor, can be used to spawn a zombie on top of where they died. Now this kind of just sounds like a 1x with less abilities. However, there's a catch. Something that makes this character broken. There is no limit to how many times you can summon zombies off the same survivor. And the ability has no cooldown, so you can just spam the hell out of it and cover the entire map in zombies. And remember, they spawn from every single survivor you've killed, so you could be spawning like 5 of them at a time with every single click. They will quickly fill the map and take care of the survivors for you. And then on top of that, he has 1,000 stamina, so you're not getting away from him. And once he gets a single kill, it's pretty much over. So while I still wouldn't say he's as broken as Sukuna, I actually think he's better than Brimstone. While Brimstone's projectile is extremely powerful, you really just have to get 1 kill and it's game over. And considering you have 1000 stamina and a pretty strong base attack, that's not going to be that hard. So S tier, one spot above Brimstone. So that leaves us with our very last character, and it's another killer, Herobrine. I can't believe they put Herobrine in the game. This is just ridiculous looking. They are freakishly tall and have 4 different abilities. Their first ability is See You, where they punch forward, dealing 40 damage. It has a cooldown of 2 seconds. His next ability is Flick, where he instantly teleports in front of him, allowing him to pass through walls and have insane movement. This ability only has a cooldown of 0.1 seconds, so you can absolutely zoom through the map, teleporting through anything. So good luck escaping from Herobrine. His third ability is Stop, which is basically Cool Kid's projectile, but it gives you slowness for 10 seconds and deals 25 damage. Finally, his last ability is Summon, which creates 2 Steves with Minecraft swords, which quickly dash towards the nearest survivor. They are extremely fast, so good luck avoiding them. They deal a total of 15 damage and help you find any survivors. He also has 500 stamina, making it a lot easier to chase people down. I'd say the strongest thing about this killer is his teleport ability, as it just makes it incredibly easy to track down anybody. However, compared to the other developer killers, his damage is a bit lacking. His best way of dealing damage is just his basic punch, which while it deals 40 damage, it pales in comparison to the other killers. I'm gonna put him in the A tier, one spot above Sancho. And with that, we're done with this video. This was definitely a very strange ranking, but hey, I think it's pretty cool that they decided to make these usually developer only characters now available to the public. Let me know in the comments below which one of these characters is your favorite.